Everything was going white. It was almost like when I have panic attacks. I had no idea whether I could lift this yoke. I felt like I could just run through a wall. I'm a crossfitter and I did a strongwoman competition without training for it. This is a vlog, but some of the files got corrupted, so I'm having to redo the intros. So I hope you don't mind seeing like future me every so often. So obviously in CrossFit we do stuff like weightlifting. I've also done Olympic weightlifting for a while as well. So I'm decently strong. We use stuff like sandbags, which you do use in strongman, but we're not really familiar with stuff like yokes, axle bars, Atlas stones, any of the kind of classic strongman implements. And obviously our workouts are like 15 to 20 minutes ish, and strongman workouts tend to be much faster. I think none of these were longer than a minute, and obviously they're all based on like strength, and in CrossFit we do gymnastics, cardio and weightlifting. But having seen some of the people at the CrossFit Games do strongman kind of implements, it inspired me to have a go, and I'm a bit of a dabbler in sports generally. I like to just try new things. Now I am aware that it isn't smart to do a strongman competition without training for it, and this isn't the first time I've done this. Back a couple years ago, it was probably around 2019, I did one, and I'd never touched things like a log before, and I ended up nearly split jerking the log and then it kind of flying out of my hands and nearly landing on my head. It was a disaster, and I said last time that before I try and do another one I would definitely train for it. Obviously I've not done that. It just seems to be who I am at this point, and it was only 30 quid and I was just like, why not give it a go? What's the worst that could happen? We'll find out. So the first event was deadlift, and the only footage I've got of this is from my phone. I promise you the rest of it is totally fine. It was 1 minute of max reps deadlifts at 110 kilos. So 110 kilos is about 240-ish pounds. In CrossFit we can go like touch and go. You don't have somebody kind of telling you to go up and down. You just have someone giving you no reps if you miss a rep. So you're allowed to bounce, although not a lot of us really do that. It doesn't really seem to have a good impact. We just, as soon as the barbell touches the floor, lift it back up again without like waiting for somebody to tell us to go again. But within strongman you have to wait for the up down signals, and I was thinking about this in my head. If I'm gonna get as many reps as possible, and 110 kilos wasn't that bad for me, all I could control was the speed of the rep in between. Because I couldn't make them say up and down faster, I have to like lose a certain amount of time between when they decide it's okay for me to drop the weight back down again or pick it up. All I could do was control how fast I lifted it. So that's what I tried to do. I tried to lift it super quickly, and I think the reps I ended up with was about 24, or it might have been 21. It was somewhere in the early 20s anyway, which I was absolutely chuffed with. As you can see, I've taken my top off already because I'm a CrossFitter. First workout was deadlift at 110 kilos for as many reps as you could do. I honestly don't know how many reps I did, but it was a lot. I felt like I got to 30 seconds and I thought it must have been longer than that. I was so gassed, but it was just like cardio for me, I think. Obviously I knew I was in a struggle with the down signal stuff, but what I didn't realise is when she stopped me and she was like, you need to wait, it was because I was not waiting so much for the down signal when I do it at the top of the deadlift. I was trying to focus on lifting when she said to lift, but when she said down, I was struggling with that and like going down a bit too soon, I think, on 1 or 2 of the reps, so she was probably right to stop me. It's just like getting my head around that. I mean, I've done like powerlifting competitions before and I'm used to listening to signals, but when it's for like multiple reps, that's a bit of a challenge. And obviously in CrossFit, if it's like max reps in a minute, you're allowed to do that any which way. You're allowed to bounce the bar because we have bumper plates. But yeah, I'm really well, really happy. The next workout is like clean and press with an axle bar, so I don't know how that's gonna go. My grip's a bit fatigued. I did practice one belt clean the other day, and I can do that, so worst case I'll default to that, but I find it easier to just like suicide grip clean and jerk. I think you're allowed to split jerk, but I think I'm just gonna power jerk or push jerk, but waiting for the down signal again is gonna be my issue. But I'm gonna try my best, so let's see what happens for the next one.
3, 2, 1.
Nice there. Nice. Nice. Yeah, nice work, girls. 30 seconds.
So that went really well. I think the axle bar was thicker than any I've tried before. And to begin with, I started off with like my thumb wrapped around, but then I think I got in like 5 to 7 reps and my grip just went and I couldn't do that anymore. So I started to like, it's called suicide grip, where you like just put your whole hand around it like that and then just kind of scooped it and drove with my legs like I would for like Olympic weightlifting, and then basically caught it in my hands and just pushed overhead. I had to make sure that like this time I definitely waited for the down signal, which might have slowed me down a little bit, but I got 19 reps in total, which I'm really pleased with. The next one is like a sandbag run, which I'm really excited about because I love a sandbag. Quite like sprints. That should be quite short and sharp and fast, and 50 kilo like sandbag is kind of perfect for me. The ones that I'm really worried about are the ones that are later on, which is the Yoke and the Atlas stone. So we'll see how they go, but at the moment I think I'm currently in first, which is exciting and completely unexpected. If I win this competition, I won't be able to do this again and just like randomly enter a novice comp. I'll have to do like a proper one because I think the rule is if you win a novice competition then you can't compete as a novice again. So I might have shot myself in the foot here, considering I'm a bit of a dabbler in sports and this is my second competition, but I'm really enjoying it and everybody here is lovely. And I think like one of the misconceptions about like strongman as a sport is that people have like egos or can be quite aggressive, and I think that's complete bullshit. And everybody is like so lovely and so kind, and really it's just such a nice sport and everybody's really lovely. Like doesn't matter what level you are, it just seems like really inclusive. And especially for like those of you that are like larger bodied athletes like me that come from CrossFit, maybe like strongman, strongwomen is something that you should try because you get to play with barbells and move heavy objects, and that's what we train to do anyway, isn't it? So you just get rid of the gymnastics and the cardio out of it. Right, so sandbag run next, saying you get rid of the cardio, but we're running with a sandbag. But it's only like, I think it's only 40 meters, so it's not very far. It'll be fine. Right, let's see how it goes.
Do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to none, but they want me to resist. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bango, euro, peso, add it up.
The sandbag event was so much fun. I enjoyed that so much, but there was a few mishaps there and it definitely reminded me of like Laura Hobart's like tumble and fall.
Trying to gain some ground and Hobart is going to dive. I don't know if she made it.
Notice it takes skill for them to get over that bar quick, and then of course you gotta risk it for the biscuit.
When I got to the end, I was like, did that count? Because I literally didn't know whether I crossed the line or not, and I wasn't sure if I was allowed to literally launch myself, but apparently that was fine. In CrossFit, we've done a fair amount of like running with sandbags, and you also get really used to like thinking on your feet within competition. So in lots of scenarios, like when something might go wrong or you get a no rep, you are able to think on the spot. And having competed in CrossFit a lot, I'm quite good with that competitive mindset. And instead of like stopping and dropping the sandbag and trying to put it in a better position, my brain automatically went to, have I still got it? Can I still run with it? Yes, let's go. Whatever which way I got it across the line, that's how it happened. I don't think about how I'm looking while I'm doing it. I don't think about whether it looks like I'm doing it properly. As long as it counts, then I was fine with it. So I just continue to carry it in what I'm gonna call the turtle position. Again, maybe this is the point where I should have realised that I definitely should have trained for this. Now, I was super nervous between the sandbag and the yoke. So I suffer with like social anxiety and just general anxiety. So I didn't vlog in between. It was quite hard to find somewhere to like video that was out of the way of people. So just to give you an insight into how I was feeling, the yoke weighed 160 kilos and I was terrified that I would get to that line and not be able to lift it at all. I have done yokes before. We had one at a CrossFit competition. I think that was about 120 kilos, and I also did like a little session with one of my friends that does strongman, and I can't remember what we lifted then. I have a feeling it was around 140, 150. So I had no idea whether I could lift this yoke, but I went into it with so much adrenaline, like the feeling I get when I do a max lift within CrossFit, and I was just like, I'm gonna give it my best. Whatever happens, happens. I've not trained for this. I have no idea how it's gonna go. I'm just gonna like use these nerves that I'm feeling and try and channel it.
3, 2, 1. I just take the money and go stand up. Her car, take it, tat it up. Don't matter much. You wanna climb me, I put the ladders up.
Let's go.
I done doubled up on the workload.
literally like by bins. Oh my god. The sandbag. The sandbag was hilarious. I cleaned the bag up. I like overjudged it and it went over my shoulder, and then I caught it behind me and carried on running with it, which is funny. And then you had to like touch it on the ground and then pick it up again. And then on the way back, I felt it slipping out of my hand again, or like off the top of my shoulder. So my feet slipped and I just launched myself over the line, which was hilarious. I think I got a lot of laughs. It's just so much fun. I just enjoyed that so much. It was amazing. And then I didn't manage to catch you up before I did the yoke, which just happened, and I'm honestly shaking. I thought I wasn't going to be able to do, it's 160 kilos, which is very heavy. I didn't know I was going to be able to do it, and I had like such an adrenaline surge that it just happened, and I think I was fast. I don't even know. And I just like did it as quickly as I could, and then afterwards like I was still really just buzzing, like, you know, when that you get that adrenaline surge and it just goes up and it just won't come down again. I was just like wired and had to just sit down and try and breathe because everything was going white. It was almost like when I have panic attacks, it was almost like that, but it was like excitement and adrenaline. I felt like I could just run through a wall. I had no idea where it came from. It was mad. So I can't even believe I've just done that. The last workout's a 60 kilo Atlas stone, and I've only ever lifted 60 kilos once with one Atlas stone. I've never done it other than that. So obviously in CrossFit we do D-balls, we do sandbags. I can lift like a 75 kilo sandbag, and I've lifted that and walked with it, and obviously I can do a 50 kilo. I did some practice 50 kilo D-ball onto a platform, but I don't really know how it's gonna go. If I manage to get one, I'll be really happy. If I get more than that, I'll be thrilled. So let's see what happens. Placement wise, I don't know. I think I might still be in first, but I'm not sure. We'll find out, I guess, when it's finished.
Nice, that's it. Down. Come on. Strong lifts. Come on. Easy one.
Couldn't believe how well that Atlas stone event went. I was so happy just to get more than one, and my absolute end goal, if I got more than one, I would have loved to have got 10, but I ended up getting 9 reps. And what I didn't realise is I was the first to go, but what you could do is pick it up, put it on the top, literally just touch it, like kind of tap it and then drop it down. I thought I had to, I've watched Strongman on TV before, and I thought you had to like literally put it onto the top and get it into that back hole before you moved it off. But people that were after me, they didn't have to do that, so they could literally just tap it. And the girl after me went like touch and go. It was literally insane to watch. She had like the whole tacky, I don't know how any of that works, tacky and duct tape and everything, and she didn't put it down. She was just like touch and going with a 60 kilo Atlas stone, which blew my mind. For me, it was pretty difficult. Just the positioning, the fact that the ball was completely solid, it's just stuff that I'm not used to. But what I love about this and the yoke is it gave me an opportunity to kind of test what kind of strength CrossFit gives us and whether it's transferable into other sports, and evidently it was. So towards the end I had absolutely no idea where I'd placed. I was just trying to do my best at the events. I was there to do it and to enjoy it, and in my last Strongwoman comp I think I came like 6th or 8th or something. I was not anywhere near the podium and I didn't expect to be because I hadn't trained for it. Same as this time. Obviously this is my second Strongwoman competition ever. It is a novice competition, so if I won this then I would never be able to do a novice competition again. Probably a terrible idea, but I ended up winning. I literally couldn't believe it. I'm gonna show you my trophy. It's huge. I can barely fit it in the camera. And it's a Plymouth Strongest Novice winner. I mean, it's a terrible idea to go into a strongman competition without training for it. I don't recommend that. But if you are a CrossFitter and you feel like you might want to give it a go, then I definitely recommend it, because you'll find that so many of the skills are transferable, and a lot of what you learn in like Olympic weightlifting really helps out with any of the overhead movements. And also like the axle clean and press, that felt so much just like regular clean and jerk in a WOD. So definitely find a competition near you, give it a go, enjoy it, but maybe like do a little bit of training first and figure out what it's like to hold an Atlas stone. Now, I do make a little bit of a habit of doing things without properly training for them. Maybe this should turn into a series. If you want to recommend that I do anything next, please do. If you'd like to watch another episode of me doing a high rocks without training for it, then watch this video next. I kind of just fancy seeing what CrossFit allows us to do in different fitness spaces and what kind of fitness level it gives me. I think it's kind of cool to sort of test the sport in that way. Thank you for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Bye.